I didn't go looking for proof. I wasn't that girlfriend, paranoid, suspicious, checking his phone while he showered. I was the opposite. I was the one making tea and charging his AirPods, the one who believed people when they said who they were. When Evan swore, "I don't do OnlyFans, that stuff's not my thing," I nodded and believed him, because it was easier to believe than to ask why he looked guilty every time the subject came up in a podcast or a meme. The absurd part? I wouldn't even have found out if I hadn't helped a married friend of mine, Jess, set up her bookkeeping. She'd launched an anonymous OnlyFans a few months back. She called it her grocery money side gig. She kept it separate from her marriage, or so she said, and insisted it was harmless. No face, no names, no real-life overlap. I'd helped her color-code a spreadsheet one Sunday with my latte going cold. Tips here, subscription fees there, notes for customs. We laughed over some of the tamer weirdness. Guy wants a close-up of hands stirring pancake batter, and moved on with our lives. 2 weeks later, I was reconciling my own budget. I'd taken over the shared expenses because Evan hated math. I opened my banking app, scrolled past groceries and gas, and paused on a charge to an unfamiliar processor with a bland name, NS Media Services. It wasn't a ton of money, but it was recurring, and it had spiky little cousins. $29.99, $19.99, $12.99, all clustered in the middle of the night like moths. "Hey," I asked, casually, in the kitchen, "what's NS Media Services?" Evan didn't even look up from the pan. "Probably one of your subscriptions." He flipped an omelet and grinned. "You and your yoga apps." I kept my voice light. "I checked. It's not mine." A flicker. He shrugged it off, plated the omelet like a cooking show host, kissed my cheek, and said, almost annoyed, "Babe, I don't do OnlyFans." He'd brought up OnlyFans. I hadn't. A small seed of doubt rooted itself behind my ribs. That night, I Googled NS Media Services. The first result was a Reddit thread. It's OnlyFans billing. Another link. Discrete billing codes your boyfriend might use. My stomach dropped into my feet. I didn't cry. I didn't even get angry. I felt clinical. I took screenshots. I clicked deeper. The next morning, Jess texted me a celebratory string of emojis. "Someone paid $500 for a custom," she wrote. "Woke up to it. I can buy a dishwasher that isn't haunted." Who would drop $500? I typed, then deleted. Instead, I sent back a row of confetti and a "so proud of you," because that's what good friends do. I told myself I was insane. And then I opened Jess's spreadsheet in Google Drive. I stared at the column, top subscriber names. She used their handles, cute and forgettable. Blue Sky, Rough Rider, North Star. I hesitated at North Star because my bank's billing code was NS Media Services. My brain did the math no one had asked it to do. Don't do this, I told myself. Don't become the person who connects coincidences into ropes. But I did. I clicked on my own bank statement and sorted by date. I compared the times of the charges to Jess's customs delivered column. 5 minutes apart, 7 minutes, 12, over and over. North Star tipped big at 2:13 a.m., and Jess posted custom 17 delivered at 2:25 a.m. NS, North Star. It might as well have been a signature. Maybe it's not him, I told myself. Maybe North Star is just someone else. Except I knew Evan's old gamer tag from college. He once joked about it when we were streaming a show. "You were a gamer? What was your name?" I'd asked. He smirked. "North Star." Because I was everyone's guide. I'd laughed then. Now, my mouth tasted like metal. I didn't tell Jess. I didn't tell anyone. I kept quiet and watched him for 2 days. Evan was normal. He whistled in the shower, forgot where he put his wallet, texted me a heart when I sent him a photo of our cat. He also took his phone to the bathroom and stayed there forever, coming back with that same floated, guilty face and a fake casual stretch. On day 3, I took action. If North Star was Evan, he'd reuse something. An email, a card, a password pattern. I didn't need to hack him. I needed to ask the right questions. "Can I use your laptop?" I asked that evening. "Mine is updating, and I have to upload a file." He hesitated for a second, a pause that sang, and then handed it over. Sure. I didn't snoop. I waited until he went to walk the trash out, then I opened Chrome and looked at saved passwords. It was right there. Northstar84@protonmail.com, saved with asterisks, under a payment processor I didn't recognize. My breath went loud in my ears. I didn't click to reveal it. I didn't need to. I took a photo of the screen with shaking hands. That night, I made a plan. I invited Jess and her husband, Nate, for dinner on Saturday. "Let's do a double date," I wrote, playing the enthusiastic girlfriend. "I'll make paella." Jess was thrilled. "I need adult company," she replied. "Nate's being weird lately. I think he suspects something. Not the OnlyFans, just the general vibe." I stared at that message for a long time. My friend trusted me. My boyfriend swore to me. And somehow, the Venn diagram overlapped exactly where it would hurt me the most. Saturday came. The paella was good. Saffron and shrimp and all the normal things you add to keep conversation normal. Jess wore a sundress. Nate brought a bottle of wine. Evan poured drinks with both hands, like a host who can't sit with his own thoughts. We ate, we laughed, we talked about shows. My hands were steady. When dessert plates were scraped clean, I stood and said, crisp as a teacher, "I want to show you all something." Jess's face froze. Should I be scared? "Probably," I said. I put my phone on the table. I opened Jess's spreadsheet, still shared with me, a ghost's blue cursor blinking in the corner. I scrolled to top subscribers and tapped North Star. I opened my saved screenshot of Evan's laptop with the Proton Mail account. Then I opened the bank app. NS charges lined up like soldiers. "Coincidence," Evan said immediately, but his voice cracked. "Babe." I held up a hand. "Wait." I opened Jess's OnlyFans creator dashboard on her own phone. I didn't ask permission. I just looked at her with the kind of look only a friend can give, the one that says, "Don't make me ask twice." She swallowed and unlocked it. The chat with North Star was right there. I scrolled. He'd paid $500 for a custom. He'd asked for oddly specific things: a red mug on the nightstand, a certain song in the background. He'd written, "Say the phrase North Star softly so I know it's you." He'd tipped extra for the shirt from the camping trip and the jade bracelet. Jess had responded with a blurry neckline, the exact shirt I'd once spilled wine on at a cabin rental. She'd bought it from me secondhand. My stomach turned. "You knew," I said to Jess, not a question. "You knew it was him." Jess's eyes filled. She didn't nod. She didn't shake her head. She just broke, all the tough talk gone, and said, "Tiny, at first I didn't. He never showed his face, but the requests and the money, I told myself I needed it. I told myself he was just a fan. Nate's chair scraped back hard enough to squeal. A fan? His voice trembled. Jess, we talked about boundaries. We said we'd keep it anonymous. No flirting like that. No repeating personal stuff. You promised. Jess flinched. I know. Evan leaned toward me, palms out. Babe, listen. It wasn't about you. It's just online. It's like not real. I laughed in a way I didn't recognize. Not real? You used our joint card. He blinked. What? No, I used my card. I clicked to the billing page. You said you hate math, remember? You put everything on autopay. Same card for Netflix, for Spotify, and apparently for your favorite creators' customs. I looked at Jess, my friend. No one spoke. The only sound was the refrigerator motor humming like a faraway lawnmower. Nate found his voice first. How long? Jess looked at her hands. 3 months. I turned to Evan. Why her? He opened and closed his mouth like a fish. She was anonymous. It felt safe, and she looked. He shut his eyes. Familiar. I didn't know why until later. I swear I didn't know at first. Familiar. The red mug, the camping shirt, the bracelet I'd helped Jess pick out at a flea market. Even the song, Evan's favorite. He'd curated his own betrayal like a playlist. My boyfriend is my married friend's top-paying subscriber, I said flatly, like narrating a true crime podcast. And you both lied. Jess broke then, ugly crying, apologies spilling in hiccuped waves. I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm so sorry. Nate stared at the table like he could burn a hole through it. Evan reached for my hand. I pulled it back as if he were a hot stove. It wasn't cheating, he insisted, desperation spiking his tone. It's not physical. I tapped the screen. Read your own messages. I scrolled to where he'd asked her to whisper his name, like I whispered it. I scrolled to when he told her things I begged him for and been met with a shrug. I scrolled to receipts for hundreds of dollars while I split rent and cooked and believed him. That's when his mask cracked. Fine, he snapped. I needed something you don't give me. The sentence hung there, poisonous and heavy. Something I don't give him? He looked at Jess, not me, and that told me everything. Nate stood up, voice shaking. Get out, he told Evan. Now. Evan scoffed, but he stood. He looked at me like I was a stranger. You're really going to throw this away over some online fun? This? I echoed. You threw it away. You swore. And then you kept paying. He left. The door slammed. Silence tried to fill the space and failed. Jess turned to Nate. I wanted to tell you, she whispered. I was ashamed. It got out of control. Nate's jaw worked like he was biting back words too big to swallow. We're done, he said finally. I told you I could handle anonymous. I can't handle this. He walked out too. Jess sat there in my kitchen, small and wrecked. I sat opposite her, feeling nothing and everything. Why didn't you tell me? I asked after a long time. Jess wiped her face. Because it was both of you. I thought if I looked away, it would stop. I wanted to be cruel. I wanted to list every way she'd crossed a line. Instead, I got up, poured her a glass of water, and set it in front of her with a tenderness that shocked me. You need to pack a bag, I said. Go to your sister's. Give Nate space. She nodded like a child and did what I told her. She left me with a sink full of dishes and a house full of ghosts. In the days that followed, the fallout spread like dye in water. Evan tried to text sweet apologies and angry justifications in alternating waves. I blocked him. Nate emailed me, not Jess. "Thank you for telling me," he wrote. "I'm sorry you were in the blast radius." Jess sent 3 paragraphs of sobbing confessions, and then, finally, a quiet, "I'm getting a job. I'm shutting it down." I sat with the mess and picked through it. I thought about how betrayal doesn't always look like lipstick on a collar. Sometimes it looks like a digital receipt at 2:13 a.m. Sometimes it sounds like a whisper in a paywalled video that repeats your private life like a magic spell. The narration, I thought about belief. I believed Evan when he swore. I believed Jess when she said no faces, no names. I believed myself when I said I was being paranoid. All of that belief stacked into a high, pretty tower that collapsed the second I pushed one brick. What did I learn? That love without accountability is just a nice story. That boundaries are not optional. That not physical can still be devastating. And that the truth, no matter how ugly, wins the second you lay it on the table and let everyone read it. On Sunday afternoon, I scrubbed the paella pan until it shone. I put the red mug in the back of a cupboard and slid the jade bracelet into a drawer. I breathed in, then out, and texted my sister. "Come over, I'm making tea." When she arrived, I told her the whole story from the beginning. She listened without interrupting. When I finished, she squeezed my hand and said, "You did the brave thing." I didn't feel brave. I felt like a person with new rules. Rule 1. If someone tells you who they are, believe them. But if their actions contradict their words, believe their actions. Rule 2. Never ignore the math. Rule 3. Love yourself enough to walk away when the truth makes staying impossible. I washed the last plate and let the quiet settle around me. My phone buzzed with new messages I didn't open. I sat on the couch, pulled a blanket over my knees, and stared at my reflection in the black screen of the TV. "I'm okay," I said out loud, testing the shape of the words in my mouth. It didn't feel true yet, but it felt possible, and for now, that was enough.